Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3.
Welcome to City Alpha 3, the Nerd Party's Star Trek dedicated podcast. I'm Philip Gilfus, your host, joined as always by my co-hosts Darren Moser and Daniel Prue. Gentlemen, how has your Star Trek week been?
It's been good.
Would you say it's pretty light, pretty dark? What would you...
What's the point, even? I mean, it's, No, wait, no. Oh, it's
Did you discover anything? Or...
There's a bit of discovery, I'd say.
Okay.
You know, I've been working really hard on this blueprint for the new D7. I can't wait to show it to you guys. It's new, but it's got a hint of classic to it, so I think you'll like it.
That's often how I've been described. So one thing, it's tangentially Star Trek related, but it is Star Trek related as well. One thing I'm looking forward to next week, my wife and I will be going to near Darren's neck of the woods. We'll be going to a Doctor Who convention in Gallifrey.
Escape the polar vortex, Philip. You can do it.
In the heart of L.A., right near the LAX airport. But, how's that Star Trek related? Well, a couple ways. One, they actually do have a Star Trek panel with Dr. Trek himself, Larry Nemeczek, and so I'm actually going to get him to... I'm going to bring some of his books, the Next Generation Companion, and then I took one of the maps from his cartography set. I'm going to have him sign that. It's like, why didn't I do that when I was in Vegas at one time? So anyway. And then Walter Cohen's going to be there, of course, the original Chekhov, but he'll be there for Babylon 5 reasons. I'm going to be on a Babylon 5 panel. That'll be my first kind of real...
Daniel's favorite topic.
I know.
Okay.
That'll be my first time actually being on a panel. So that's I don't. There's very little direction about what to do other than like you're on a panel and there's a moderator and I don't know. So it's like I don't know what do you do to be cool? I don't know. So I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do there. But anyway, so there's some Star Trek things. You guys got any Star Trek things you're looking forward to or going on?
I was just going to ask though, Philip, if you were going to cosplay as Inspector Spacetime while you were there.
Oh, that would be pretty cool. What I am doing, okay, since we're getting into this, so there's going to be some cosplay. So Jessica, my wife, has a Dalek dress that her mom made.
Ooh.
So, there'll be a picture somewhere. So it's sort of a red dress and has sort of the black bumps that, there on the bottom. And she's going to carry like a whisk and a
plunger?
a little plunger. Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
The height of elegance.
Now I'm going to be doing some combination cosplays. So I'm going to be Captain Jack Harkness from Doctor Who and Torchwood. Of course, John Barrowman will be there, who I always adore. But I'm going to be doing some mishmash cosplay of Captain Jack Harkness. So my first one is Captain America Jack Harkness, where I'm going to have Captain America mask, shield, and top, but then have the Captain Jack coat, vortex manipulator, and then I do have like tactical gloves like, the Marvel Captain America wears.
So Captain America Jack Harkness.
Then I'm going to do Captain Picard Jack Harkness, same thing, except I'm going to wear my red Starfleet top with captain rank and a phaser and tricorder, and then Captain Jack.
Look, you just looked in your closet, Philip, and you're like, what to do?
Exactly.
What to do?
I didn't, because the only thing I bought was the Captain America mask and the tactical gloves. And the top, Captain America top.
Then I'm waiting for your Dead Poet Society crossover, whereas Captain My Captain, Picard, and it's all mixed together.
And I'm also doing a 12th Doctor cosplay, just because that's another one you can do from your closet. Because he has sort of the classic one with sort of like the one where he looks like a magician. But I'm doing the other one where he's sort of like Old Man Rocker, where he's sort of wearing a T-shirt, a hoodie, and then sort of a velvet coat over that. And then sunglasses, sun science. I'm going to do that one too. So yeah, that's going to be my cosplay. So I'm going to nerd it up a lot next week in LA. So, but anyway, so of course we're going to be continuing our Discovery review series here for season 2, much improved season 2. Anyway, but to join us is another Star Trek fan, and that is Matt Hansen. Also here on the Nerd Party Network. Matt, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
We're so sorry you got stranded here on City Alpha 3. just starting off with that.
Well, it's better to what is it? It's better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven.
That's right.
Well, context is for kings. So.
Oh, stop.
We can do this all day. All right.
Although I
Well,
would
no,
say
Matt,
in that
I-
other episode where where Pike almost said he's like context is for, and I'm like, if you say kings, Philip's head's gonna
No.
explode.
He's
But he-
different, Captain. So
but
that's why
he
he said it
didn't.
differently.
He didn't.
So, Matt, what is your general, in 50 words or less, what has sort of been your season 1 thoughts? And then as we go into season 2, what's sort of been your Star Trek Discovery reaction as a Star Trek fan?
Well, I guess I'm one of those weird people that really liked season 1. But you know what? I've really been on board for this since day one, from being at Star Trek Las Vegas in 2017 when they first had some of the cast there, and following it through season 1. Was a big fan. I got some law school friends who are sort of into Star Trek. We watch it together on a regular basis. We watched all of season 1, and season 2 has only been going up further and higher. So, like, I'm, in opposed to a lot of disgruntled fan bases these days, I'm generally happy with how things are going.
Yeah, no, that's good to hear. Yeah, we can sometimes be, critiques of season 1, but we like to have people who like it because, we're not, it's just our opinions. We like to have people who have all opinions here. So we like to have other voices. So
I mean,
I'm glad you can speak some positivity. We don't always have it.
We got to give it higher props than TNG season 1, I think. But that's just a personal opinion, I suppose.
That is a weird thing to measure it against. But no, I agree. But yes. So, well, let's get into it. Of course, we're going to be talking about season 2, episode 3, Point of Light. And this has sort of had a few things going on. So I thought we would just take it. To me, there were sort of 3 storylines going on. So I thought we'd just take it one by one and tackle it as tackle may do. So let's start off with, seemed to me, the big thing, the folks we haven't seen for a few episodes, and that's the Klingons.
Now with 100% more hair.
Yeah.
Well, it's what do they chant? Like remain Klingon. And it's like,
Yeah.
But there was. I mean, the Klingons had a lot. I felt like this was course correction Klingon, where it's like we're gonna have hair. We're gonna.
Is that spelled with a K?
Everything's with K's. Course is spelled with a K. Correction is spelled with a K, and Klingon is spelled with a K.
3 Ks. That's not good.
It's like Mortal Kombat in here.
But I felt that I liked the stuff that they were doing with it. The more political intrigue of the balance of the houses. And it's like, how do you keep, the chancellorship, or, how do you stay the leader when everyone kind of wants to kill everyone else? And, very, I guess, Game of Thrones. I don't know. I've never seen Game of Thrones, but I would assume. But, yeah, and then, they're dropping names left and right. We hear General Chang, he's not general. He's, ensign. And they're, just have a lot of different names. And they're trying to weave it together to be like, look, see, this is Prime Universe. And for the most part, I really enjoyed all the stuff they did. The visuals were great. I really liked, it wasn't just that one match shot of the rainy, council chambers on Kronos that we always see in Next Gen. It was nice to see something a little different. So I enjoyed that.
So, Daniel, I have a question. I know this is one of your greatest loves of Star Trek. Now, Grandpa Klingon, I don't do names, but Grandpa Klingon in this from the House of Kourse. Did he look familiar to you in any way, Daniel?
No? Wait, is he somebody else, too?
He was the same actor who plays Kor.
Oh, was he really? I did not know that.
I know you're a fan of everyone in this family.
I did not know that. That's
actor.
well. Here's the thing.
It did kind of look like him, just with longer hair.
He did have the same mannerisms of him too, so I'm not surprised. And I love Ken Mitchell as a Klingon. I love. But anyway, you were saying.
I guess. I guess this bypasses my problem with people playing their own, predecessor when they have such a different makeup technique that you can't even tell it's the same person. It was really funny because I was watching it with my girlfriend, and she's not aware of like the mix-ups behind the scene and like sort of how they switched things a lot going to season 2. When we first saw Laurel, she's like, "Whoa, she looks different," and I'm like, "Yeah, she has hair now." And she goes, no. She looks way different, like way more than just the hair. Like she's missing half her skull, and she's a slightly different color. Like she's just very different. So like Darren was mentioning, they've. I like how they threw the line in there. If it didn't kind of break canon, like, oh, we're not in war, so now we can grow our hair out. But
right,
every time the Klingons
heard
go
that
to war,
behind the scenes, but
they don't
hearing
shave
it on
their head.
canon was nice.
Yeah,
but we've never seen them in a war before this point, and after this point, it could be just like a archaic ritual, like that rite of succession that Picard makes Gowron and Duras do that they don't do anymore. So, I mean,
or emperor. We've never had an emperor in 1,000 years. That's totally, why would we do that?
They've never had a mother in 1,000. Oh, wait, that's it. But man, are you Discovery aside, are you usually a fan of Klingon storylines?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I love.
So did they canail it for you?
Yeah. I mean, yes. The thing that I admired about what Discovery has done with the Klingons so far is, like, I know everyone got hung up on the looks, but I feel like for the first time in a while, they've gone beyond the simple stories and archetypes about family and dishonor or honor and all that sort of stuff, and they've really made them kind of a much more politically intriguing culture than I think they've been before. And I admired a lot of the steps that they took last season, but it was nice to see them again with hair and be a bit more recognizable. I still think they retained the parts that really worked last season, but they're now conforming it to what it will be moving forward. And I think that it was important to, start someplace different in order to get to what we know. That's the beauty of a prequel. That's kind of the direction that Enterprise was going in before it was canceled. So I'm glad to see that there's a bigger effort on this part. But yes, I love the Klingons. And I feel like they enunciate better. I think they changed their teeth.
They certainly did. They're
new prosthetics, new hair, new teeth.
Well, also too, I mean, some of these people, Mary Chieffo, I could always understand, but I mean, she's now had a season under her belt, so I imagine some of the people already know how to work around the teeth.
Well, just logistically speaking, the fact that they're switching to English pretty quickly into any sort of extended Klingon scene just makes the pacing and the actual sort of the conversation so much more natural, and it's so much better. Like, and they did it in clever ways. Like when they started speaking in Klingon, and then they switched to the.
I was just about to mention that. That was cool.
Yeah, I like that. I thought that was
like oh, there's a problem with your TV.
Yeah.
Oh, it's English now.
Yeah. What a friend of the show, Tristan Riddell, posted on our private group. I believe it was him, but he said they went the Red October route with the voice, where it's
Sean Connery doing his Russian accent.
It's like you start and then you just kind of fade into English, and then you're in English. I'm like, hey, and I think it makes sense. I mean, I give them props for doing massive scenes in Klingon in season 1, because that's, I mean, Takuvma's big speech, like, that's a big speech. I still want Takuvma back, but he's not coming back. But
well, this is
I don't know. Maybe he'll play his own father. You don't know that at this point.
Well, this is probably not an original thought, though I haven't read it, but I'm sure someone else has thought of this. And I don't know if this is maybe borderline racist, but one thing I was thinking of, Ash sort of has this new look, where it's sort of a Klingon human look. But I was kind of like thinking, like, he looks like the TOS Klingons. I was like, I wonder. He does sort of have the
with the beard,
big bushy beard.
Yeah,
so the dark. Again, I'm not trying to be racist, but
slightly Asian.
Darker skin, kind of the sculpted beard, human looking. Obviously, I was like, I wonder. So, I mean, I know we all know the whole Enterprise explanation, but
right.
But yeah, I guess either L'Rell or Ash Voke. What would you all think of that whole storyline between the new Mother Chancellor or Chancellor Mother, and then her human pet and all those wonderful things?
I guess I felt like it. Part of it felt like, okay, we're getting back up to speed with these characters, and they want to keep the Ash Tyler L'Rell dynamic going. Otherwise, we wouldn't really need this entire episode. But it kind of felt like, oh man, why did we shoot that scene in the end of season 1 where Ash went off on the Klingon planet? Now when Doc Brown and Marty have to go back in time, she's stuck in the DeLorean. Like, that's what it kind of felt a little like. Like, just so far as the fact that, you know, we're staying with what they established in the end of season 1 with him being like, you know, the liaison or whatever his position was. But then by the end, he's totally not in that position at all, and it's changed. So I don't know. I left feeling kind of like, then why did we set that up in the first place? Is this supposed to show his character growing, or could they have just not had any of this and he's just on, you know, JoJo's ship at the end? Again, I'm not saying I didn't like it. I liked all the political intrigue. I liked, you know, some of the, you know, the fight scenes were really good. But it did kind of feel like, boy, if we hadn't done that one line in the end of season 1, then we wouldn't have had to set this up. You know what I mean?
Well, even more than that, and along those same lines, we introduced a baby and then dropped him off. You know, where it's the same sort of thing where it's like, well, what was the point? If this is,
I have a theory.
There's lots of theories.
Here's the dynamic, and no, we're gonna have to deal with this. Oh, wait, no, it wrapped itself up by the end of the episode.
Yeah, it just feels like it's
here
so quickly put forward and then just left in such a weird. Of course, I'm sure they'll pick it up later, and Matt, you can talk about, you know, whatever theories you have. But it just, like, the storyline, other than like the whole Mother Chancellor thing, felt kind of rushed, like, and then just very neatly tied up at the end of the episode. But
yeah, what's the Hansen theory?
Well, first of all, it's so hard to say how this fits in at this point because, I mean, the four of us have done various Star Trek podcasts at some point. We've always been reviewing episodes that have already come out, and we've already seen the context in which they've played into their storyline.
Philip,
yes, which is for Kings.
Swear if you.
So, I mean, it's hard to prospectively say that they're never going to pick this up again, or, you know, the ending of season 1 served no purpose. So the way I view it is the end of season 1, I always thought that there was going to be some kind of issue with leaving, even if he was a Klingon at one point, leaving a human on Kronos to rule by L'Rell's side. So I'm glad that they addressed those difficulties at first. I also think that it was important for L'Rell and Ash to separate because part of it, and I know it wasn't subtle, but you know, Star Trek usually isn't that subtle with their allegories. I thought they were commenting on, you know, the pressure that women are under when they're in a leadership role or role of prominence, in that they're always second guessed. Someone's always assuming that there's some guy behind her making all the decisions, and the scrutiny around her is almost tenfold. So I liked that it forced L'Rell to assume a higher position of authority because, and I think this plays into future Star Trek too, because at one point during TNG, I think it's Gowron says that women can't serve on the High Council. So I want to know, kind of between L'Rell and, you know, Gorkon's daughter Azitbor, how it got to that position, what made the Klingons want to ban women from positions of authority. So it's kind of interesting in that sense. The baby, I don't know if it's going to be picked up the rest of the season, but I do have a theory that is the albino that will kill Kor, Koloth, and Kang's sons later.
Yeah, I've heard that theory, the albino, which is nice. I mean, I'm totally fine for that.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I buy into the fact that, you know, and one thing about Discovery, I agree with you, Matt, is that, you know, they which I'm not interested in Klingon, so that's why I don't like it, but that's just me. But I can say that they have definitely dived into the Klingon culture, making it rich, making the language, making the whole history more. And so I can't, the storyline here where I may have issues, but it's Klingon culture, so I mean, I can't, you know, as we know in Star Trek, you can't really use your human values to judge the Klingon culture. So it's like, you know, how was she as a mother, or giving up the child, or, you know, whatever. That's Klingons. I'm not going to judge that. But it's sort of like you know, it's just trying to think of like, okay, she gave birth, and I'm trying to figure out her feelings. Like, she didn't want the child, or whatever. But then it just is kept in the house, as in capital H house. So just the house Mordecai is just taking care of the child, though. Darren, I don't know if you normally just keep your baby in a room by itself. I was trying
to figure out what was going to... I didn't recognize that as a Klingon cradle. Apparently I was supposed to, because as they're moving towards it, I'm like, I have no idea what is supposed to be in this chalice.
I thought there'd be
thing.
like this golden light, like Pulp Fiction, with a suitcase, and they look down. But...
So here's my thing, and obviously Ash is going to go through a whole arc this season, so it may be moot to even talk about this. But to your point, Darren, about like where he is at the end of the like separating him from Laurel and all that sort of stuff, there's 1/10 of a backdoor pilot in this episode. And I feel like
the JoJo Ash Adventure Hour.
The scene on the crazy ship, which I'm sure we'll talk about. Crazy origami folding ship, which, okay.
I love that ship.
Anyways, but there's that scene, and obviously they're
inside.
definitely sort of planting the seed that Ash is going to eventually go with Section 31. And maybe that spinoff. Maybe he'll be part of that show. Maybe he'll separate from Discovery. I don't know, but that's kind of where I thought that was hinting towards, at least, because they said we like misfits. That's what she said. It's the island of misfit Starfleet officers and stuff. I don't know.
That's a weird. As a writer, I'd be like,
What's
let's
a
not use that
square
word.
with square nacelles? Wah, 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 wah.
You know what, guys? You laugh all you want, but the freaks are more fun.
I've heard that.
Are we gonna do Greatest Showman here?
I did like the moment, the tiny moment where like he's holding the Klingon baby and JoJo kind of slips into mom mode.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like making faces, and he looks at her, and she's like, "No, I'm a stone cold killer." You know, it's just
That was funny.
And that was the same monastery that Worf goes to later.
Yeah, Borth.
To find the clone of Kalis. So
One thing I enjoy how Ash / Vogue, however you want to call him, says Kalis. You know, it's
yeah.
We never. I mean, it sounds funny, but
the
at the same
original
time, like, it's a proper Klingon. We just always hear Kalis, which
Right.
is the American anglicized, but I do like the Kalis. Yeah.
We got to call back to the story of Kalis and Lucara.
That's
in
right.
this episode.
They said their love was. Is that like Klingon blasphemy? Like they're like-
heresy, yeah. It's like, oh man. Well, remember they kill their gods, so they probably also kill their historical figures.
That's
too.
fair.
Why not?
That's totally fair. No.
That's true. Someone
yeah.
eventually killed Kalis, and you know, he is dead.
Wrapping up the Klingon talk here, I guess you mentioned it. What do you want to say about the Empress Georgiou returning to Magic Deus Ex Machina?
Okay, you guys get your negativity out of the way. I'll try to end us on a positive.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Tell us about what do you think of Georgiou reappearing in her magic hood?
And her bubble gun and awesome weapons.
Okay, even before this series started, I am a diehard fan / stan of Michelle Yeoh. And going all the way back to, she's one of my favorite Bond girls of the entire James Bond series. From Tomorrow Never Dies.
I was going to say, I just think Hidden Dragon always. So.
No, but this was even before Hidden Dragon. This is when she came on my radar. So the minute she was announced for this series, I was really hyped. And, you know, it's through Star Trek magic, of course, that they managed to keep her around. It's the, very same thing like Denise Crosby playing both Yar and Sela later. But I don't know. If they're going to keep that character around, and if they're really, when you think about it, Ash going on the Section 31 show actually makes sense, because if you think about it logically, where are those two characters going to end up working in this universe? It's important, for both of their sakes, that they try to keep a low profile, and I would think that the Black
There's
Ops
nothing
section
low
is-
profile about Section
About
31.
killing the entire
yeah.
Klingon.
But yeah,
But anyway, continue.
But you know what I mean. I think the Black Ops route is the way to go. And if they want to go there with Georgiou, I'm just a Michelle Yeoh fan, so I'll watch her in anything.
I mean, I've never been a huge fan of Section 31, but I can see the direction they're going as far as, I mean, one of the things I didn't like as much about the first season was, I like Lorca, the character, but
Oh, yeah.
but we had our characters doing a lot of really questionable things in the first season, and I could see them saying, okay, well, now we're going to kind of split it where we have the definite right of, Pike and the Discovery, and then the
We are Starfleet.
and then you have the Section 31 where they kind of get to do the cool stuff, but they're going to bend the rules and break the rules and do the more morally ambiguous stuff, with Giorgio and Ash. And I kind of like that distinction, like having that, putting them on separate ships and separate courses. And I'm sure they'll interact, but that makes more sense to me than, we have like Section 31 people on the Discovery and
black badges.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of a secret organization having a distinctive marker that they show to people all the time?
That apparently everyone knows just by sight.
Yeah, I don't understand that, but...
And we never did, which fine, whatever.
Apparently it doesn't matter. They're still around in the 24th century, so, I mean...
Well, those badges are gone,
but they're secrets,
or maybe
and no one's heard of them.
Now, maybe something they do between now and the 24th century that is so bad that they go underground and they stick around, but as officially they've been shut down.
Yeah, they never did. Of course, the episode 3 of season 1, I think, still counts as a pilot, so I can always forgive "quote unquote" pilot errors. But like when they see the black badges, people on Discovery, they never explained who they were.
That's true. They never.
Well,
did.
no one knew.
Although now I can see.
No, they said black badges. Never see them.
Yeah,
Just like they're just standing in front of a door.
No, but they don't know what it means. That's what they commented.
But
on
what were they there for? Why were they on Discovery?
Well, I mean, middle of a war, Discovery's using it as a new weapon of mass destruction, theoretically. So
they're like the Gestapo or something.
Know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see Stallone being like, "Oh man, I miss the black badges. Those were the days. We could just walk out in the open. Not so much anymore."
No, I have to imagine, like, I don't know what character from, like, the 24th century, like, I don't know, Bashir was too easy because of the Section 31, but, like, who's, like, the nerd that have all the badge collection he or she would pull out, and he's like, oh, this black badge I got from my, like, grandfather at a yard sale, and I don't know.
Kivas Fajo.
It's full of
that would actually make
nanites,
sense.
Self-destructs.
Yeah, can we talk about the ship?
Sure. Tell us about the ship.
What is that?
It kind of reminded me... I mean, Darren can give us the actual explanation that I saw he posted, but it almost reminded me of the relativity from Voyager.
Yeah, it totally did.
But it just completely inverts itself. So I have a problem with Voyagers' nacelles for many, many reasons. They're tiny, totally. Anyways, there's lots of problems.
It's not about size, Daniel.
Voyagers' nacelles. But my biggest problem is, of course, the fact that they have to kind of move in order to go into warp and stuff. Obviously, as soon as you start to have a system that mechanically has to move, you introduce a whole host of problems. And if we can go to warp with nacelles that don't have to move, that's a better system. Now,
are you saying the Borg, all they had to do was just assimilate the servo motors on the nacelles and they prevented the Voyager from going to warp?
But correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure, and this is way nerdy, and I apologize, but...
Welcome to the show.
But weren't the purpose of the Voyager nacelles and the way they moved, that was to counteract the damage that was going on in Force of Nature about warp engines destroying space?
Warp pollution.
Wait a minute, is that like, was that ever discussed on the show? Because I don't feel like it was.
It's in the technical manual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically
it's canon, non-canon, off-screen canon.
Look,
can we use that word?
Voyager needed a smog test to pass the the warp.
Darren knows
smog.
all about emission standards in California.
Do I? Check engine light everywhere.
So there you go. Section 31, for as bad as they are already environmentally conscious.
They kill people, but they recycle.
They looked ahead.
So,
they looked ahead.
They kill people who don't recycle, but
they knew before everyone else.
That's right. They're not telling everyone. One thing I did think about, and I'm not, whatever, with the look of the show, I'm not going to complain about it. But I did think the Section 31 ship looked the most 23rd century of most of the ships we've seen. Because the new looks what I call the JJ look, which is fine. Whatever. I'm not going to be here all day about it. But it did kind of
the ladder pit.
Well, it's just the look. The actual look of the outside of the ship looks almost like an old, like a TOS. I mean, a modern one, of course. Looked very TOS-y, I thought. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, when I looked at that bridge of it, which I think is sweet, by the way, but that bridge is like if the Relativity and the Scimitar bridges had a child.
So, Darren, do you want to give the technical explanation you revealed of why?
Oh, well, it was, someone posted a picture, because at first I thought, I'm like, dear Lord, they spent a crap ton of money to build this bridge. So,
it's the Shenzhou.
But then I didn't realize that it was, apparently they built the Shenzhou bridge like 30 feet in the air, so they just took out that floor and then, which actually, I mean, building things up is not uncommon. It seemed actually fairly up, but, but that, it does make sense that it's just not even just a redress, I'd say a reconstruction of the Shenzhou Bridge, which that ship's been destroyed, so we probably won't need it that much. But
or will we?
Or will
It does
I just
feel like the giant pit in the middle super impractical. Like you have to go up ladders to get to level
Well,
You have to
2.
good thing we have to hit
change
that-
to
the
be
same
in
peop-
Section 31.
It's the same people who designed the Oberth class science ship where you
Yeah.
need to beam from the secondary
Oh,
hull. to
yeah.
the
they're like
primary hull.
launching it, and they're like, "Sir, how do we get to the secondary hull?" Transporters that'll always work.
No, it's like the contractor's like, look, that's what it looked like in the painting. That's what I delivered. What do you want from me? You didn't say you had to go to one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, was saying earlier before we were recording with Daniel, like, well, engineering has been known to have ladders a lot, and I got the feeling that this was a much smaller ship, so you have this massive multi-purpose bridge that has a transporter in the middle and all these consoles and a lot of different people. It's the nerve center, and then everything else in the ship is like living quarters and not much else. But yeah, it is fairly impractical.
I mean, for like a 3-minute scene, and this is me. So they're obviously not. I mean, obviously they're not Starfleet, but I was wondering, like, what's the structure of that ship, the command structure? Because like some dude is like,
The more
warp
leather
speed or-
you
no,
wear, the higher rank you are.
because I was like, is there a captain?
Do
Could
they
you
have
her?
OSHA laws? Because they're not under Starfleet, so they could. That's why there's no railing next to that ladder. It's a gross safety violation.
But the quote unquote captain, that was the same dude from the deleted scene, right?
Yeah, that was the Trill.
Yeah.
Not Trill.
So him,
Not Trill.
Gruffy McGrufferson, he
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
mentions control. I think it's the word he uses. He
Yes.
says control wants us to whatever. So that means
that's always
there's some
friendly
hierarchical
term.
organization.
Well, that
Well-
means they're going up against chaos, as everyone knows. It's control and chaos.
I mean,
next time, Gadget.
I don't know if this was intentional or not, but control is a thing that it's a AI system that Section 31 uses in one of the David Mack books. So I wonder if it was some sort of shout out to that, or whether they're going something different with
It's
it. But
basically
that-
whatever council is making their decisions of what they should do.
right.
Maybe it's like a Jarvis where it started out as a real person and then turned into the.
Although now I have a thought. What is Empress Georgiou's ultimate goal? Because I can't believe that she's like, I'm just fine being kidnapped from my universe and just now I'm running this black ops for you. Like, she's got to have bigger ambitions.
Well, the deleted scene. I mean, for folks who haven't seen, there was a deleted scene of Discovery. It's on YouTube, I think. But anyway, it's basically she at the end of season 1. She's sort of like hanging around that sex bar or whatever Orient thing on Klingon.
Oh, so where she gets recruited, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and so the guy basically says, "Hey, do you want to own this bar for the rest of your life, or you want to go out and have?" He doesn't say have some fun, but you know, basically you want to do some stuff, giving her an opportunity to do her thing, but
I
in
mean,
a controlled environment.
We don't know what happens to her. Maybe after Kirk goes to the mirror universe, she's like, "Oh, so transporters can send me back, huh?" So
Yeah, but it'd be weird. I mean, I'm not interested in character, but that's me. From a story perspective, I guess it'd be interesting to know what her character would want to do because, I mean, her purpose was to die. I mean, that was what she was mad at Michael about. She just wanted to have a death. You know, whatever. I'm not Empress anymore because I'm weak now and kill me. And so she's almost like someone who like wanted to kill themselves, but you saved them and is angry about it.
Oh, that's
But
true.
then it's like, what do they want to do now? I don't know. That's a good question. What
But
do they want to do?
I wouldn't be surprised if she had like an ulterior motive of like getting back to her universe or taking over this one. But I don't know.
well, gee, guys, it sounds like you actually want a spin-off show to answer these questions.
Well, I do think
Are they doing it? Have they confirmed a spin-off show? I haven't heard anything
Well,
about
yeah, they've
that,
confirmed that they're producing it. The rumor, and I don't know, is this rumor or reality that, because I read it, of course that doesn't mean anything, that they're waiting till Discovery ends, and then that's sort of then,
I've
in
heard,
my mind, that Discovery has sort of a
Finite.
penciled in amount of time. But I don't know, what have you heard, Matt?
I've heard that quote. I don't know what context it was taken in, though. I want to know
Which
if
is
it's,
for, we all know.
again, does he do this every week?
every week. It's no,
Only
no,
when I'm acting
It's not
king.
that bad. I mean, because I get their whole like, we don't want to oversaturate. We don't want too many things going on.
But you have so much space during the year. So
yeah,
I
I don't
could,
see why they couldn't launch it within like
See,
2 years or so.
But that's my thing is I don't know if they meant like when the show as a whole is over or when a particular season is over.
or maybe
Kurtzman-
when they're done with Georgiou, like they're not. Then they're like, we don't want to spend the episode time on this character. We want her to now be in her own show, so we
Kurtzman
can
has
focus
said,
more.
he's waiting till they're waiting until season 3 of Discovery is over, and that's when we'll see the Philadelphia.
Yeah, I guess in my head, and this could have been me thinking like, well, does that mean there's only 3 seasons, or is he just saying end of season?
I think they're focused on season 3 right now.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to be right now. They're going to be focused on season 3 and then the Picard show.
Right. And then they said they'll move on to that show.
Well, speaking of moving on, let's go to Tilly and the Mushroom Ghost.
Oh, yeah. The annoying mushroom ghost.
Yeah, I you know what? That's the thing, is that if I had to give a criticism of this, I really liked Mushroom Ghost last week when we didn't realize she was a mushroom ghost, because then it was like this fun, quirky mystery. But man, she got shrill within a week.
Yeah, and you know, and I know that's a word that we. But anyway, but yeah, it was just too much. I mean, I get the comedy, quote unquote comedy of the scene they were going for, but it was just too much. It was all, like, as an audience, and I guess this is good writing and acting. As an audience, I was feeling what Tilly was feeling, like, get away, stop talking, And I was going as crazy as Tilly was, but you know, I'd rather be a little more relaxing when I'm watching a show.
Now, if I to pay it a compliment, though, I think Mary Wiseman has been great this season, and especially this episode. I thought she gave a really strong performance, especially in the quiet scene between her and Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
Well, and I read the latest Discovery book, which is all about Tilly and her kind of formative years as it basically ends off with her joining Starfleet. And it was really good. I really liked it. It really added to her backstory and a lot of well-written and fleshed-out characters. And I think this ghost character, was in the book. Was one of her.
Oh, really?
Really?
I don't. I'm trying. I have.
You mean the original high school classmate?
Well, I haven't cross-checked because it was kind of like a college-ish place she went to. I haven't cross-checked if the names are exact, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were.
Should you go to a Montessori?
Well, she basically went. Her mother was like a really high-profile diplomatic person, part of the diplomatic corps, and she wanted Tilly to follow in her footsteps. And so this was like a prep school for diplomats and getting into the diplomatic corps, which is not what she wants at all.
I believe she went to a private school.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't have that overlapping and actually be referenced, because it's all coming out at the same time right now.
Well, yeah, and I believe like David Mack was the first one who wrote the first Discovery book, and I know that he had gotten, and that was even before the series came out, but I know that the producers gave him production notes so that he could get the characters and the story right. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of these Discovery authors are getting some sort of advance notice of where the characters are going to go on the TV series so that they conform the books to. I mean, I know the books aren't canon, but they do try to stick with canon as much as they can.
Yeah, I mean, I see it as the books are canon unless something contradicts it in the show, and then which sometimes happens, but not.
Well, I enjoyed. I've only read the first Discovery book, and I enjoyed it. I really recommend, someone who personally doesn't like Discovery, but I would recommend that first Discovery book because it's Captain Pike, number 1. Captain Zhuzhou, the Shinzo, all that cool stuff. But I guess that book is now contradicted by the Spock-Michael relationship that we're being told now.
Oh, that is true, because they have the whole
But it's still a good
together.
book. I think you can, 2 different universes in your head. It's a good book.
Yeah, but besides that, the books are really good. I've read every single one, and I've really enjoyed them.
I was just going to transition, so if you have something else to say.
Well, I was going to say I called it, but I mean, I don't think it was a hard thing to call about the mushroom dot being what.
Oh yeah, I was waiting for that to be the explanation because I mean, it seems like when I
they
saw
hung on it really closely, and you're like, this is important.
But you know what though, it was shocking because I went on Twitter after last week's show, and everyone was like, "So where did this ghost come from?" And I'm like, "Does no one remember that very long shot of the spore going on her uniform? Is it just me that remembers this shot?"
Was this the Bernstein Bears universe? I remember this.
Well, I think it's also the fact that they've been focusing so much on the asteroid that it's easy to forget, what happened last season in this one shot versus, she just did this to the asteroid and then got knocked out and then now she's seeing this thing.
Maybe that's just because I'm a nerd and I obsess over details, but to me the spore landing on Tilly was the
I'd forgotten about the spore, but it makes sense.
For me, it was the Spock's tube on Genesis. Like, this is how the Doctor's going to come back, but we'll find out later this season.
And I do love every season we were going to have a mistaken captain. So last it was Stamets calling Tilly captain, and this time it was Mushroom Ghost calling Stamets captain.
The captain of the Mushroom Highway
Kingdom. I don't know. But I mean, so it was weird. I'm semi interested in how it turns out next episode. We're going to learn more about the.
I'm more interested in how it affects Tilly at this point. Because right now she's been giving the performance that in this storyline that I'm interested in.
Yeah. Well, and that's another nice thing about the book. It really explores a lot of what got her interested in astromycology, and it's not just like, you can tell why she's on the Discovery and why she's basically like the assistant to Stamets, because she has a lot of knowledge in this
assistant.
field.
No, I'm kidding.
Well, yeah, no, I know true. But I mean,
two original Stamets.
But the fact that they're both on the same project, I'm not surprised at all, based on what we saw in the book.
One thing that I'm pining for is that, or not
Chris pining
for
is Stamets is or Anthony Rapp. I'm going to just say Anthony Rapp. He's not getting a lot of screen time.
No,
and Stamets really doesn't have and I'm sad about that because he's my guy. I didn't warm to him instantly season 1, but then of course he got me with
patience,
this boy.
my child.
Yeah.
We got 11 more episodes to go.
but he's sort of So I'm hoping the Mushroom Ghost gives Stamets something to do, other than not that I'm belittling the storyline, but other than just pining for his boy.
Well, we know we're going to see Dr. Attractive Beard soon.
Dr. Colbert.
Yeah.
Soon. So
how did you forget Colbert already?
I whatever. You know what? I did want to say that there was a great shot, and the whole scene that we should talk about too, about on the bridge with the command training program, and there was a great shot where there's the 3 candidates, and it pans across them, and it starts, and it's Ghost Girl. Then it's Candidate 1, Candidate 2, Tilly.
And then Ghost Girl.
And then
again.
Ghost Girl, yeah.
I thought that was really fantastic.
It reminded me of that fun deleted Firefly scene where Mal keeps going in every scene as they cut to all the people. He keeps going into every person as the camera moves to the next group of people. Just has a shocked look, and then goes to the next one, has a shocked look, and goes to the next one.
You know what? I got to say, I think the one prop that you definitely got to give Discovery, especially this season, is the cinematography and the way things are shot. I mean, the camera movements, they're trying to do something different than your old stationary dolly shots from the 80s.
And I agree with you, Matt. It's very cinematic. I will admit in this episode, and I saw the director's name, I forget how to pronounce it. By the 5th upside down camera shot going, stop it. Okay, I got it. It's great what you're doing.
He went a little nuts with that, I'll admit. But I mean, some of them were cool.
But it's cool otherwise.
The spiraling into the Section 31 ship I thought was cool. She should have used it for that, for sure.
The exterior to interior shots are some of my favorite stuff Discovery does. I absolutely loves when it starts to swirl, and then we see them inside the corridor, and we're just right outside the window. It's really, really good stuff. I really enjoy that.
So let's go to the arc story, which, whatever. Red Angel, Amanda, Spock, Michael, blah, 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 blah. So,
and Amanda.
So Matt, what do you think? What are you thinking generally of this Red Angel storyline, and what you think of, in particular, this episode of what we got from Amanda and Michael and the story of young Spock?
I mean, I'm into this storyline. I was into it from episode 1 this season, and here's why. I think part of the good things that Discovery is improving upon is this storyline has given them reasons to have a lot more intimate character moments and flesh out these characters beyond some of the superficial attributes that they gave when we first started the series. So, I mean, I feel like we've gotten to know the bridge crew a lot more. I was happy last week to learn more about Awoshikan. I'm very interested to see what Michael apparently did to push Spock so far away that he wants nothing to do with her. I think that's a great explanation for why Spock never brings her up. So I'm interested to see where it goes. And who is is it Mia, who plays Amanda?
Jenny from L Word. That's all I know her as.
I really like her. I mean,
I hated her in L Word, but I like her here. So
I really like her as Amanda. I really feel that she gets that matronly but wise than more people give her credit for that Jane Wyatt had in the original series. So I really like her as a character. So whenever she shows up during her scenes with Michael, I love.
Yeah, I mean, she's very. I mean, it's going to sound stupid, but I'll say it anyway. She's very human. But you can also see in this episode, I think, her playing the Vulcan thing. You know, like, okay, when I was on Vulcan, I had to play Vulcan. But then I'm also playing human sometime. And I think it was interesting, the whole, in as much as it is with the family storyline, what you can do with Michael versus what you can do with Spock. But what do you got, Daniel?
I have many thoughts.
Is this time for your Spock rant?
It is going to be a time for my Spock rant.
Daniel Prue, his daily Spock
But
rant.
real quick, when you were mentioning the actress, Matt, I was curious how you felt about her versus Winona, the little of her we got.
Well, that's the thing, is I don't know if I don't have enough of Winona to make a basis. I liked as much of Winona as we got. I liked her, but this is the most that we've got to ever spend with any of these actresses who have played Spock's mom, and I only have, we had a full episode of the original series with Jane Wyatt, so that's really what I'm comparing her to. And I'm just really impressed. I really think she's bringing something, again, not to no pun intended, but she's bringing something incredibly human to the character, and something strong. She's more than just Sarek's wife now. I
agree with you. So there's two things here, and there's one huge complaint I have, and one absolute praise I will give this scene. The praise is the fact that in tradition of the best sort of prequels, it actually extrapolated in a natural way and made me actually think about this in a way I hadn't before. When Amanda is talking to Michael about Spock, her upbringing with Spock, and she's basically explaining that she wasn't Sarek basically disallowed her to have emotions around Spock, and I'm like, well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, that's totally in line with what we know about Sarek and what we know about Spock's upbringing. And, like, she felt pressured to not show emotion around Spock. And that could also lead to why he's so conflicted later on in life and blah, 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 blah. I thought that was great. That was a great line. That was a great way to extrapolate, because we don't really know much about Amanda and her technique for raising Spock. My problem is that now we've had this conversation between Michael and Sarek, and I get why Sarek would be like, clearly you're uncomfortable having this conversation with me. I'll be around if you want to talk about this. But I don't get why Amanda, so Michael's like getting emotional. I did this terrible thing, and I said this awful, I pushed him away and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, here comes. Okay, and then
wait for it.
Michael gets called by her boyfriend, and then he just leaves. I can't remember if that's the same scene or not. But anyways, any human being would be like, "What happened?" Not just, "Don't tell me in vagaries." And it feels like they're stringing this along for the purpose of, well, drama, which makes sense. But it's so frustrating for me, for her not to just be like, "Okay, what did you do, Michael? What happened?" And it feels like such a fake conversation that two people wouldn't have about someone in common. It frustrates me, because this is all going to tie into the Red Angel stuff at the end. It's all going to, but I just feel like it's going to be frustrating more than emotionally. It's not going to be, to me. It's just not going to be satisfying, I feel like.
Well, I think and I'll say this value neutral. I think the challenges. Twofold, or two possibilities. Number one, whatever explanation has to, well, in my opinion, has to be enough to explain why Spock, has not mentioned her. Fine, whatever. But so whatever you hear, that's a lot of value. And or something can happen in Discovery Season 2 or Season 3 that then explains it. It doesn't necessarily have to be this instance, because we don't know. Time's still going forward. It could be something else that happens that explains it. But it's just a lot of challenge. And so, like you said, the more you string it upon, the more weight you're giving it, and the more likely you're not going to be able to carry that expectation. But I can wait one more episode. But it was an interesting way of writing that I enjoyed, when it was the whole, instead of her saying it, Amanda's saying, and I'm paraphrasing, like, I can see by your reaction that that was that it's bad, or that you
must have wounded him so deeply.
Exactly. And I thought that was a lovely way to sort of do that. So.
And it's not going to be like Lost, where you're going to wait for the entire series before you get an answer to anything. We'll know by the end of the season what it was that she did.
Will we?
Yes, we will.
I still want to know what happened to the
Spock.
Spore Drive. I thought we were going to know about that by season 1.
Well, we are.
I don't know.
Especially if using it somehow is creating new forms of life. We know how Starfleet feels about that. So.
There it sits.
Well, or it comes to life and creates a offspring like TNG season 7 or whatever with the holodeck.
Hey, but you know what is great? The scene with Michael and Pike and Amanda in the ginormous ready room, which seems to get bigger every time we see it.
Well, it looks like
that's the
now,
conference room.
Yeah, I was going to say it now looks like the ready room / conference room.
Yeah.
But
it wraps all the way around the bridge. It's a big.
I mean, he's not in it that much this episode, but I continue to love Pike more and more.
Well,
as
he's
each
healing.
episode...
I mean, took that bash to the ribs last time.
No, I get it. I'm just saying, like, he's not in this episode very much, but the stuff that he's in, Hansen Mount is making me really like this guy, and I liked him before, but like he feels like a fleshed out real human being at this point, rather than just some character from the pilot that we saw once and I'm crippled. I said from like I think I tweeted after the first episode came up, I was like, wow, I'm really sad now knowing what happens to Pike later because I like him so much.
It's a happy ending eventually.
It's an illusion, though.
That's one way to look at it, I suppose.
This whole thing is an illusion. But yeah, he's sort of friendly Picard. You know, the wise gentleman captain, but he's very approachable and funny, and makes the jokes.
I mean, I love the whole thing with him and Tilly. What did he say? Like, what do you say? We marry some people even though they're not that into each other.
Well,
I missed that. I missed that line. Was he saying that while she was sitting on the bridge?
Freaking out.
She was.
Oh,
it was
see,
right.
That's
it was,
why I missed it because I was trying to hear him talk and Tilly focus and babble lady not shutting up the entire time. I could not focus on what he was saying.
It was funny. Well, I did like his little line of like when he's talking to Amanda, like, well, I can't.
She always this bossy.
Break into the I can't break into these records. Even my mom wouldn't like that.
I thought that was funny. Yeah. You know the one problem I had with the scene?
But he turned around very quickly on that. Yeah, let's break this mother open. All right. Yeah.
Well, I think what tipped it was when they started saying, "Oh yeah, no, Spock totally like killed people,
murdered a bunch of people,"
and everybody looks at each other going, "Yeah, no, that's not our boy
Arrested
Spock."
for a crime he didn't commit.
Something.
If you ever need Spock.
Now I'm just seeing, like Columbo, like Pike's, walking around in a trench coat, and he's like, one more thing, why would Spock do this? It makes 3 of us.
They don't have I guess they don't have a security guy, or they don't have a tactical.
We
security.
had
It used to
one.
be Tyler. Yeah. Well, he used to also be the other guy who Lorca fired or something because he couldn't shoot phasers or something. But,
so the one problem I had with the scene in the ready room conference room, whatever, and I really wanted to bring this up because this felt super fan hostile, super Star Trek fan hostile, was the scene when he's talking to the guy on Starbase 5 or whatever. And he says...
they're talking about using screens?
Yeah, and there's no reason to throw that in there. Like, they're teasing people who care about the details and the canon of the
Are you saying the fact that we use holograms and other technology,
Yeah.
but not in Kirk's time?
It feels unnecessary. Like, just don't put that in there, because if we're getting over it, it's fine. But it feels like it's pushing people who have a problem with how Discovery presents itself versus how we know Star Trek.
Well, when you had the great holographic epidemic of 2355 and they don't use holograms anymore, I mean, that's coming. I know it's coming up.
Mushroom Drive and holograms. There's a whole thing.
You know what? This may make me a jerk, but I'm less than half a semester away from becoming a lawyer. I'm an instigator, and I say if that's a joke aimed at the people who are always whining and crying about canon, go for it. I love it.
But it's not even a good joke. It's just literally there to rib people. Like, it's not funny in the episode. He says,
I'm all good for ribbing people.
But in the pilot, you had something similar where, like, Pike is having that chat with Burnham, and he's basically like in between the lines, he's basically saying, "Don't worry, fans. We know it was really intense last season, but it will be more lighthearted. Let's ruffle a few feathers." Like, he's looking right at the camera practically. Like, that was not subtle at all. But I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying it was them kind of saying, "Hey, look, we are course correcting a little bit."
We are. I think it's they're course correcting, but they're not going to like ship everything away that they did last season. I mean, nor should they. I mean, I've always been for this series looking more advanced than the 1960s because I don't want to see a cardboard set just to keep canon.
Or 90s, or early 2000s.
It's unfortunate that, like, as humans, we have we're really bad with attention spans and with patience, because they told us from the very beginning that this show was going to be a progression and was going to change. And, like with the uniforms and with meeting ships and with technology. And I totally feel like, if Discovery has a nice long run, that we'll look back and we will see that. But living through it in the internet age, nobody has patience for that. And I'm just saying, like, let's give them a chance to tell their stories.
Yeah, and for one thing, I was just asking myself when you were talking, like, have they used holograms? And of course they did in this episode when Michael talked to Tyler.
Which was a great shot. Oh, man, that shot we need to talk about.
That was really cool.
When Michael was on the left.
Oh, when they look like they're in the same room but split down the middle? Yeah.
Which
now, that
I'm
was
pretty
fantastic.
sure was an actual set they literally just built or something.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
See, that's my thing about cinematography and set direction and everything in the series.
It was great. That was fantastic.
Man, they are spending all their money. Okay, but anyway, so that's so. Any final thoughts? I mean, the whole, and I guess we'll find the whole Spock saying young Spock, baby Spock, after being visited by his future self and saving his life. Later was visited by a Red Angel and then found his.
I mean, it
sister,
will be
Michael.
really interesting to see what the Red Angel actually is, as I'm sure we'll eventually get an answer.
It takes its mask off and it's
I think it's
Q all along. John Delancey cameo.
Old Mr. McGregor.
John
I think
Delancey. I'd love that.
I think it's real interesting. I think it's real interesting that so far in the 3 stories we've heard about the Red Angel, where it was in the first episode, the second episode, and the story that Amanda says in this episode, it's always manifested itself to people who are in need. Somehow in need. I wonder if that's a theme that they're going for, and I wonder how that's going to resolve. But it shows up when, Michael's going to die. It showed up at the church to save all those people to take them to New Eden, and it showed up to Spock to let them find Michael. So,
I did see one fan theory. It's the Preservers. I don't know if I buy that, but it's a nice thought.
Is that the Telosian alien?
No. The Preservers are. They've talked about it both in the original series and I believe TNG as well. The theory that it was this race that kind of spread around humanoid.
the Chase
Oh,
alien.
the Chase aliens.
Yeah, and even I guess it was mentioned in Paradise Syndrome. I think. So,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
TOS.
I don't know. I as ballsy as it would be, if it was John Delancey, I would just crack up.
No, it'd be. I'm sure he's dead, but like the Trelane, that's anyway.
No, just go full John Delancey. Just go full, because technically, there's no reason that John Delancey's Q didn't exist back in the time. They're omnipotent.
So I want
He was nicer, Teenage Q.
But I want to see. But I want to know if they're gonna do the Marvel thing and de-age him, or if somehow just Q chooses to look older when he's in the past,
Or they'll just recast him.
or do
That's what they do in
both,
Discovery.
where it's like he's de-aged, and then he's like. And he's like, "Oh, you have a touch of gray there, Captain Pike," and then he ages himself to matches.
Oh boy!
If
he shows up in
the
the Voyager uniform and we're doing this. Click Discovery.
That would be awesome. I would love little nods like that.
That'd be funny. He was like, "Weren't you wearing more color last time I saw you, Captain Pike?"
Well, but anyway.
But I mean, I do like some of the meta jokes they've had this season, though. I mean, to be fair, it was last week, right? When Pike said something to the effect of, "If you're telling me this ship is going to drive on mushrooms, I kind of have to just go on faith."
Yeah, this ship's going to be flying on a highway of mushrooms. I have to kind of take that on faith. Yeah,
I don't need details.
And I liked when Tilly was doing her marathon that you had all the signs go this way, and it was
very friendly.
And it was lighting but it was lighting in a way hey, this is. Yeah. It kind of felt like it's not as intense as you're reliving the death of your father's choice, but a little more,
Well, it's much better on Voyager, in the, what is that, season 1, last episode. When
the Maquis episode.
Yeah, that'd be helpful if the ship was something by the way, people are going to be running down the corridors, get the F out of the way.
Yeah, it's on your left.
I like that setting of Discovery.
Tilly said on your left, and I immediately went to Winter Soldier.
That's true. Yeah, the computer said, the training program is approaching.
Marathon.
It's make a hole or something, but...
And I was like, wow, Tilly took a really long time resting and still did
Won.
pretty well.
Boy, she was booking it.
She has a whole conversation with that ghost lady and still wins. It's insane. Yeah.
So, I mean, the rest of those people clearly suck.
Yeah.
So.
Or she just took a shortcut.
They were not very sweaty,
I
noticed. So that must be very moisture-wicking disco command tops they have.
No, see, it's object permanence. If they don't part of the plot, when they walk off screen, they cease to exist until she comes into the scene with them.
Cool. Well, Matt, I'll give you as the guest the last word here on the episode 3, season 2. What'd you think? Any final thoughts or anything about where we're going? I forget what was given in the teaser, something about Mushroom Ghost, I think. But what do you think about where we are and where we're going?
Yeah,
next Saru's dying in the next episode, apparently.
Oh, that's
so
right.
Sorry, Doug Jones, you had a good run.
Oh yeah, like they're really going to get rid of Doug Jones.
No, he has a good walk.
Doug Jones, I just got to say, I don't know if he's intentionally playing Saru is kind of like this gay choir teacher sort of thing, but I love the vibe that he's giving, like just the Ensign Sylvia Tilly, it's just.
I am shocked. Saru is shocked. Like he's gonna start talking about himself in the third person.
We just call that British.
I absolutely love him. That's Doug Jones. If you're listening to this, that was not an insult. That is, if anything, that is a compliment. But you know what? I this was probably the. I hate saying this because it makes me sound like I'm dumping on this episode. I'm not. It's probably the weakest of the 3 so far, but it opens a lot of questions that I want to see answered, and it still maintains my interest. I liked catching up with everybody. I'm interested to see if that's all of L'Rell we're going to see this season, or somehow the Klingons are going to have something to do with this. If this was going to be like a quadrant right disaster sort of thing,
like they have to all pull together to save each other,
or somehow, yeah. But.
No, the Picard series, Section 31, and Discovery have to meet together to solve Red Angel in the, what would it even be called? It can't be Avengers, I don't know what would be the group movie called. So anyway.
Days of Starfleet Past.
First class.
But, the second season, I think, is still riding high. And I think it's as much as I loved the first season, I think it's a much improved show this season. I feel like they've found their footing early, and I mean the next episode's coming out on Thursday is my birthday, so I can't think of any better birthday present than a new Star Trek episode. So I'm into it. I really am enjoying it.
I don't know what this word means, but episode 4 is called An Obol. O-B-O-L. An Obol for Sharon.
I feel like that's a mythology. Yeah. I know Sharon is a mythological character.
I looked that up, and what that is Sharon's Obol is an elusive term for the coin placed on the mouth of a dead person before burial. So very similar to like the coins placed for the boatmen.
Mm-hmm. So we're not quite Latin yet, Darren, for your DS9.
Yeah.
But we're getting
that's
there.
True. We're not quite there. But, I mean, that's obviously, an Obol for Saru is what it is.
And then I just want to do a quick ending note, because I don't know how else to talk about this. And I'm not paying for something else, Discovery, but I did notice that Anthony, of course, my favorite, Anthony Rapp, Mary, or not Mary, or Tilly, what's her real name?
Mary Wiseman.
Yeah, Mary. Sorry, I was like, there's another Mary, that's L'Rell. Sorry, but yeah. So Anthony, Mary, Doug, and,
yes, that's right.
Sonequa.
Sonequa are doing a lot of karaoke. It's an Apple TV thing, which I don't have, so I'm sad.
But I actually found, I don't know if you guys have sang this video, but there's a song that Anthony Rapp, Doug Jones, and Mary Wiseman and Sonequa did on the bridge of the Discovery talking about nerds and...
The Rent song.
Yes, because we had Rent.
Oh, is that what it is? Because I've never seen Rent.
It's based off of...
25,600. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because, of course, Rent Live was the other week, and Anthony came out in the last scene, which... It made my heart do things because it was the original Rent cast came out with the Rent Live cast. But yeah, that was a cool thing. Yeah, it was on Facebook. I saw that when you were talking about Matt. Then of course they have the karaoke one they've been doing too. So I'm sad because I don't have Apple TV, so I don't know how to see the actual all of it.
It'll end up on YouTube eventually, and then I'll see it.
There you go. So anyway, look out for that because that's cool. It is because I was actually actors usually. Well, sometimes I'll say usually. Sometimes can sing, but they're pretty good singers on that run.
They were not
necessarily all in tune together.
No, but
overall,
I mean,
look, the acoustics of the 23rd century are a little different from.
But by themselves, they all have got chops.
But notice they put like Anthony Rapp front and center because, like, okay, that's a safe bet. We're good with him. And next week we get looks like we're going to finally get Rebecca Romaine, so I'm looking forward to that too.
Let's hope so. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it was cute in the car because when they get in the car or they beam there, and Saru's still in makeup. And he's like, I'm still in my makeup, aren't I? And he takes like a towel, and in a pretty good cut, like he just goes like this, and it's gone. and he's like Doug Jones again. It's like, oh, that was pretty good.
The hard part about Doug Jones is like, and I'm sure he doesn't mean to, and maybe it's just because he works so much, he's still doing alien things as a normal person.
He's just Doug Jones in makeup. That's basically his character.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I'm without due respect to him, and I think he's a great actor. I don't think I've ever seen him play a human.
Yeah.
In anything.
I don't think I have either.
Yeah.
He has a skill of sitting in a chair for 8 hours.
I think he's just naturally alien. So I mean,
maybe he is an alien. I'm not saying, Daniel. All right. Well, Matt, when you're not spreading all the positivity about Discovery, where can folks find you on the internet?
They can find me at mhansen 0207 HANSEN. We'll see how much longer that lasts, though, because I've got the bar later this year.
Oh, I've been there, done that. Have fun. And Daniel, where can people find you to talk about all things Klingon?
Oh, well, I mean, we could do it if you want, I guess. But you can find me on Twitter at @OneUpDown. That's the number 1 and not the word.
And Darren, if folks want to talk to you about the 3 mushroom ghosts that visited you on Christmas Eve, where can they find you?
Mushroom past, mushroom present, and mushroom bring back our characters.
We call it Fungus Future.
They can find me on Twitter, Twitch, or Instagram under username Dr. Sci-Fi, DRSCIFI.
And if folks want to know why I use the stage name Red Angel on the weekends, they can tweet me at handle NC Public Servant. Well, next week, as we said, we'll be talking about Episode 4 and seeing the fate of our favorite interim Captain Exo/Kelpian. So until next week, I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And I'm Matt Hansen.
Stranded here on City Alpha 3.
Ah!